Welcome back, Flare community. Happy Monday. I hope you're all well and having an incredible day as always. You know what time it is. It's time for the weekly news catch-up. We're going to basically blitz through and summarize this week's news on both the Songbird and the Flare network. So let's jump in as always on Flare Metrics. This is a metric site built by FTSO AU, a sponsor of the channel, where you can get information about the various signal providers and how they are performing. This week, topping the charts on the Flare network is Flare.space. In second place, we have Atlas TSO. In third place, Solaris, who seems to be up there for quite some time now. In fourth place, we have Flare Dienst. And in fifth place, we have Alpha Oracle. Moving on to the news for the NFT collections, this is Sparkles, currently the only NFT marketplace on Flare, but it also hosts the Songbird network NFTs too. Topping the charts is a familiar face, and that is the Flare Apes. In second place, we have the Flamengo Friends. In third place, we have Doodle Bunny. Fourth place, we have Flare Punks. And in fifth place, the Loyalists Collection by FLR Finance, or should I say Enosys. Shout out for the sixth place, which is the Flare Community Lucky Claw NFT collection. A little bit more on that in just a moment, but we're going to jump straight into some news from the Flare Network official account itself. If you didn't already realize, they've got a square logo now, which means they are a verified organization. They got that nice little yellow tick right there, which is always good. There are two important differences between the rewards that you receive on the Flare network. One of them is the Flare Drop, which is basically the 36 monthly airdrops, and that's, as we see here, it consists of 24 and a quarter billion FLR. It's already been minted, and they're distributed in equal increments every 36 months. And I believe Kenny was in the chat actually earlier talking about his allocation was not what he was expecting, but there's no way to determine what you will actually receive until you've received it, right? Because it's based on 3 random snapshots. And the only time that you're able to identify when them snapshots have been taken is after they've been announced, right? After they've been chosen. Also, you have to consider the amount of WFLR in circulation. As we've seen recently with the Coinbase news, a lot of WFLR, I imagine, has been, or a lot of FLR has been wrapped as people have withdrawn that to start participating in the ecosystem. I'm going to talk about some statistics in just a second. But the second rewards that you can get as a participant on the network is this one right here, the FTSO rewards, which is the Flare Time Series Oracle rewards. And that's basically given each and every epoch, which lasts 3.5 days. And that's based on the accuracy of the signal provider that you delegate to. If we go over here, we have this, which is pretty interesting actually. The Flare time series Oracle is actually one of the most accurate in the space, and this is a report that recently came out by Flare, and it was demonstrating the FTSO accuracy more specifically in comparison to the Kraken exchange, and I'd highly recommend checking this out. You can go to flare.network and you click on Learn and Flare News, and they've got all kinds of news that they've been recently bringing out. And as you can see here, I have highlighted something. The FTSO is one of the most decentralized oracles in blockchain. This new evidence suggests that it is also one of the most accurate when compared to pricing on Kraken. And it's got all kinds of infographics here and charts. I'd highly recommend checking it out. And in fact, there is the full report here, which is a lot more in depth. But it's a good read if you are into getting all the information and sort of analyzing the performance of this critical piece of infrastructure for the Flare network. It's an on-chain oracle, very decentralized and very accurate. Again, from Flare Network, this is sort of just to highlight what the Songbird network is, because I saw some tweets earlier today, and it was talking about this person was talking about Songbird like it was a test network, but the Songbird network is actually a canary network. All of the latest functionality is going to be on the Songbird network first. And that's not just from the protocol level, all of the changes that should end up going to Flare, but also, I imagine, from many of the applications, the dApps that are building on top of the network. They want to test out functionality in an environment which is as close to the live main net, which is the Flare network, as possible, while still being able to test for vulnerabilities because the network has value. You know, in a true testnet environment such as Coston, not many people, or not many hackers, let's say, are incentivized to try and extract value because that network does not hold value. With Songbird, the actual assets on the Songbird network hold value, and that sort of creates an incentive for hackers to try and extract it. That makes the Flare network extremely secure because all the testing will occur on Songbird prior to going on to Flare. And beside that, it is the lower house in a bicameral governance structure. Moving on, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is from Banker DeFi, and this data is taken from Gene, who is, again, actually quite a great member of the community. He provides all kinds of charts on a weekly basis. Let's just have a quick peek at some of his statistics. Here we go. You can sort of see, or maybe not that one, but you can sort of see the charts and all of the reward rates going on. But I just want to head back over to this one from Ash, and he's talking about this reward rate. So since Epoch 50, which is when I believe the Flare network started, you can see that it rapidly decreased, and this is likely due to more people wrapping their FLR. Currently, I believe there is about 3/4 of all FLR that has been wrapped. So, you know, this sharp decrease it's not going to be sustained. You can sort of see this flattening out, and I imagine as time goes on and the higher the percentage of the WFLR that's wrapped, you can expect this to sort of steady off. Moving on, we have this from, again, the Flare network, STP03, Songbird test proposal. And this is the Songbird FTSO management group, and it's a forum where they can sort of collaborate and sort of share information about signal providers who may not be acting in the best interest of the network. They're going to have the ability to collectively freeze participants and stop them from participating. And we can sort of see here, this is what the forum looks like. If I just blow that up a bit, excuse me. You're not going to be able to have a say in this because it is sort of available for the signal providers, right? But they are providing ample evidence and you're able to view it. In fact, if we go here, we can sort of see this information provided by FTSO, who are, again, a signal provider. And it's sort of just highlighting this guy, Oliver, who's running an FTSO. And this one is particularly, specifically Love FTSO. And it's sort of talking about the owner of this signal provider sort of asking people to join his algorithm, and in exchange for 50% of the fees. He's bragging that he can get you as a top 10 signal provider, and it's basically how can I say it, in sort of pushing towards this centralized goal so that this individual can make some money. That's not what we want in the community. We want a place where signal providers are all independent to ensure the decentralization of the network and ensuring that it's robust and not just relying on a single API while this one bad actor claims all of the rewards. So if you are delegating to Love FTSO, I'd highly recommend delegating to someone else, in fact anyone else, because if you are delegating to a signal provider that is known to be sort of what's the word, I guess, encouraging centralization, then you're also contributing to that problem. We can actually collectively, as the Flare community, we have the power to remove that power from them. Remove your old delegations from Love FTSO because they are a bad actor in the space and do not deserve to be rewarded. We have this message here from Flare.dashboard, Flare-dashboard.io, created by Ash and Eric. As the Flare network evolves, the role of data providers becomes increasingly important, and their relationship with the delegator public will deepen. Thus, an independent platform providing community-validated information will be much needed. The perceived value of Flare-dashboard.io amongst ecosystem participants will be clear, and this will further drive its community development and adoption. For those of you who don't know, this is an incredible website which basically is asking for information from all the signal providers, and you can see them here. And in fact, something that I really like about this website is that these are all randomly ordered once every single day to ensure that there is no biases. And they talk about the team information, as you can see here, the operation history, how long they've been providing infrastructure support for the network, and also the build plans too. What have they got going on in the future? You've got infrastructure and costs, so you can sort of monitor how much of the assets that they're accumulating, how much they're actually selling. You've got the data safeguards and the reward sales and the reward holding address. So full transparency from some of these, and I'd like to see more signal providers really sort of provide this information, because you should be interested in this as a delegator, as a participant of the network. Hey, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Nathan for becoming a member for 2 months. Very much appreciated, my friend, and in fact, everyone that helps support the channel and allows me to do this full time, it's really much appreciated. Moving on here, there's this news coming from the Lucky Claw collection. I released earlier this week the first ERC20 NFT governance system, and this is basically a way for holders of the Lucky Claw project to, I guess, navigate the direction of the collection itself. This is the application. This was the first proposal, the jackpot winners, and we basically decided that collectively that there should be one mega jackpot winner, which is what happens right now. We did have some chats in the Discord, in the exclusive Flare Community Lucky Claw collection chat, and there was some opinions that we should have maybe 2 winners. And again, we put this to a vote, and it seems like the majority of people just like the idea of one mega jackpot winner, but you can expect more of these proposals going forward. But a lot of people have actually been pretty on top of things in a second, but this is the current rewards that you can expect each and every month. Over here we have the month date. This goes on for 35 months, almost 3 years. Each and every time we're giving away 50,000 FLR. That's by today's standard, I think $1,600 each and every month. We've got a Flare Community poker deck of cards, which you may have seen me play with on Thursday. The third prize slot is already filled. That's, next month we have the Flamingo NFTs, the month after the Flare Apes. We've got Doodle Bunnies, we've got Mandrills Minerals, we've got all sorts. We've got some Pixel Plants, shout out to Doc Bob D, community legend. We've also got some Johnny Lawrence launch NFTs, very exclusive, only 30, I think 50 of these exist. And next week we're also going to be giving away a Decent wallet. In fact, we've got 12 of them to give away over the course of the next 3 years, and a lot of XRPL prizes as well coming from the Expector project. More about that tomorrow, because I think I'm dropping a video on that. We've got some sparked and NFTs, and again some more pixel plants too. So an absolute jam-packed treasure chest. Well, we'll be giving away each and every month. One thing that I did want to say as well, for these people who are eagle-eyed watching these proposals, every time someone votes, do actually get a bit of reward, and that is the Flare community coin. So this is something that I wanted to go under the radar, but some people messaged me on Twitter and on Discord, what the hell is this? Is it a scam? No, this is actually part of a much bigger plan, and I'm going to be talking about the utility of this in the very near future, but just going to keep that trick up my sleeve for a little bit longer before we get into it. This is pretty interesting. If you look at this video, if you can see it there, there are numerous projects that are building a hyper-realistic metaverse using Unreal Engine 5, and this is what this is here. Visually speaking, they all will be incredible, and I really think that the first to penetrate this market with a thriving ecosystem to back it up will forever change the game. There are some people that we know that are building such a metaverse. That's the Xtoads project. We've got Expector and also the Superbad series, all being built in Unreal Engine 5. And I mean, if you look at this video, it's pretty crazy. This is actually just a, you know, it's not real life, despite how realistic it looks. But something that I think is important to note is that graphics aren't everything. When it comes to a metaverse, we're going to have this immersive experience where you're able to sort of participate in the network more than just for fun, right? I think a thriving ecosystem will sort of consist of businesses and ways that you can make money and buy things, and I think the first person to crack that will really do well in this space. So I guess time will tell, right? Is coming from Enosys. They've partnered with Aurus Global, which will ensure ample liquidity to help the ecosystem scale by providing efficient access to token utility. Very excited to be working with them upon the mainnet launch, and that's referring to the Flare network launch. So we had a bit of a chat with Thanasimos. He's a project manager for Enosys, and he was saying that this company here are going to be providing liquidity on the centralized exchanges for their main tokens, their governance tokens. And speaking of them governance tokens, you may know them as YFIN or SFIN, or sorry, YFIN and YFLR. There is actually a bit of a rename, and I know D-Day is a big fan of this. Enosys Flare Network token update. So what you know as YFLR, which is comparable to XFi, let's say, is going to be renamed to Helion, and it's going to have the cash tag HLN. Similarly, YFIN, what you may know on the Songbird network as SFIN, is going to be renamed to Apsis, APS. So you can actually read all about this and sort of what these names mean. They've got some like deeper meanings. I'd highly recommend reading this. It's one of the latest posts from Enosys, maybe in the past hour or so. And some of the product names are going to be renamed as well. You know, FlareX, FLRX, is going to be Enosys Dex. They're all pretty intuitive, actually. I don't want to read through them all, but there are some things which are going to remain the same. That's DeFi Oracles, Scopus, Clover Protocol, Hermes Protocol, and the APY Cloud. They'll remain as they are currently named. Lovely jubbly. Speaking of Johnny Lawrence, he's adding the final layer to his Clara painting. And I really like how Johnny is really fusing these digital and physical worlds. You know, he's a very talented artist in the real world, but also in terms of animation. If you don't know, Johnny Lawrence is he's created many of my intros and some of the overlays and all this stuff. He's really talented, really supported the channel for such a long time, and I think it's only right to support him and help get the word out there. He is doing some really incredible work. And if we scroll down, actually, there we go. Here, look. This one looks like a more recent video. He's obviously working on something else in the background, and when I was actually in London last year, he showed me this as a very primitive sketch, let's say. So yeah, be sure to check him out. And like I said, we've got many of his artworks that are getting given away each and every month to Lucky Claw holders, and he may potentially be working on something for me in the very near future, but I won't spill the beans just yet. This is something that I just wanted to end on, because I think it's important to say, FIP01, a lot of people, I think it was a very small minority, they were complaining on Twitter, but this small minority had a very, how can we say it, loud presence, but it didn't represent the majority of the company. In fact, FIP01, that's the Fleur improvement proposal, passed with an overwhelming majority. And it was basically the idea of this distribution, right? Without having to rely on the exchanges where you can receive your future Fleur drops based on the amount of WFLR you hold in your own wallet, and that's very important. It also changed a lot of other things by reducing inflation and many other things, but I'm very happy that this passed because, in my opinion, it purged many of the freeloaders with no interest in what is being built on the Fleur network and its many novel protocols or features, sorry. If people want to buy FLR now, they have to buy it from someone who understands the future potential of this incredible network. I imagine there was people that wanted to just receive their FLR, because they held XRP back in 2020. And, I'm still very sure that demographic accounts for the majority of the people. I received some of my FLR as part of the XRP snapshot, as I'm sure many people watching, but those who just wanted to sell each and every month without any interest in participating in the network, I imagine they've sold their FLR and now that airdrop is going to be passed on to someone who bought the FLR, who wants to use it. And I think that's really powerful. And I thought it was just worth reiterating. So that is pretty much this week's news. Lots going on, as always, definitely keeping me on my toes. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you are part of the Patreon member, please feel free to come down right to the bottom here. You can see D-Day already eagerly waiting, but come join the chat. We have weekly chats for the Patreons on Monday, and for everyone else, an open forum on Thursday where everyone is welcome and we have a good old chinwag. So with that being said, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Have an incredible week, and until next time, I'm out.
We have liftoff.